In this video, I'm going to do a film breakdown of Reed Shappards Summer League so far. You won't want to miss it. Tap in right now. Enjoy. The Rockets Chop Shop is your one-stop shop for all your basketball needs, for highlights, analysis, podcasts. We do it all here at the Rockets Chop Shop. Make sure you hit the like button on the videos that you watch if you enjoy them. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications from all the great drops that we have on the channel. Also, you can visit the Chop Shop merch store and get you some of the swaggiest gear in the Houston Rockets kingdom. And if you want, you can always support the channel directly through donations. And if you want, you can support us through our partnerships with our sponsors. The Rockets Chop Shop is made by fans, for fans, and we're gonna keep rocking and keep dropping that heat.
This is something I know.
First play, Cam brings the ball up the court, gives the ball to Reed, gets a screen from AJ Griffin. The Wizards are switching, it looks like, 1 through 4 and having their 5s play the drop, and we'll see that in a little bit. But you get a screen here, and then the man that is supposed to switch out on Reed does a terrible job getting square. So it's almost like he's trying to deny him to go left without any support on the interior. There creates a wide open lane, and Reed does a great job of attacking and gets into his floater bag. Now, this floater's, like I said, I think I said this in one of the podcasts, is a neutralizer for size. You got to have a floater if you're an undersized guard. You got to have a floater. You got to have all the great guards that are undersized. They have that floater game. And for him to have it is really a must for him. And I'm glad that's in his bag right now, because as the games get more intense than Summer League and he's expected to play in big moments, even though we know he's not like a guy that can get to the cup at will and, finish amongst the trees, automatically that floater is going to save. Here's where he's at his best on defense, when he is using his mind to kind of anticipate things that are going to happen, understanding how the actions are run. He kind of knows what the defense wants to do here, and he baits almost like a cornerback. If you watch the good cornerbacks, not every cornerback can do this, but he lets you think that you have an open passing lane, then he jumps it. Now, this is good and bad, right? And I'll talk about the bad later on, but this is good and bad. He knows that this ball is coming out after the screen is kind of blown up there by the Rockets, and he jumps that, leads to an open, fast break, layup for Reed that turns into a goaltending. But a lot of steals, a lot of different ways for him to get his hands on the balls, and make a lot of plays off of defense. This is what I love that the Rockets did a little bit, and most of the time they ran him off screens, off ball. He scored, right? This is where I expect him to be when he's not on the ball. I'm not the type, I really don't like him just being a corner spacer, right? All the time. Like, you can do that once in a while. I'd rather put him in a slot. So you can give your drivers a cleaner lane, because the guy that's guarding the corner, if you put him in the corner, a lot of times, the player that's there, even though that's a great kick out to put in the corner, it's kind of wasting his gravity, because you can help a little bit easier from the corners than you can from the slot, especially when the action is at the top of the key, right? So if you're a guy, let's say you're playing the weak side help, you can still, because you have help on the slots, you have help at the point of attack with your big man there. You can still get a tag on the roller. That's going to be the center for the Rockets there, and still recover in time to be able to help out. When the player's in the slot region or that wing region, the help is just a little bit harder, because that pass is shorter. Once your guard or whoever's handling the ball gets feet in the paint, they just kick it out to that slot right there. Just that little indecision. Sometimes for guys is as soon as they commit, even turn their back, that little kick out is a short pass. That's an open three, and we saw him hit that in the Lakers game. I think that was like his first made shot was off of one of those buckets. But Love here gets a off-ball screen curls right into a pull-up jumper here. That is a shot that he can get anytime he wants. I had him on ball here. I want you guys to just keep in mind and watch how Wizards are playing him. What do we call this? You guys who watch this channel, you already know what this is. Drop coverage, right? So the Wizards are in a drop coverage, which against Reed Shappards, against Steph Curry, against Dame Lillard, against Trae Young, against Luka, against any damn near half the league now, they're going to abuse you, right? They're going to abuse you. The drop was created for guards of back in the day, right? Baron Davis, Steve Francis, AI, even more modern, Russell Westbrook and Derrick Rose. But that drop coverage is to protect the basket at the same time, allowing your fellow defender that's guarding the ball handler to be able to recover back to his assignment while the big man isn't getting a free roll at the rim. Nowadays, bro, this defense is so antiquated. There's a few guys you could run drop on, in my opinion. I mean, Russ, I could do it on Amen Thompson. I could do it on Ben Simmons if he was still playing. I could do it on a couple of guards in the league. But nowadays, you just asking for trouble with this. Like, guys are just shooting off of this. Or if they're not shooting, they're going to put the defender in jail and just either draw a foul like we see Trae Young does. And look how Reed is doing this. Right there, has him locked up right there. And a lot of times this is going to be called a foul, right? Because you put him on your hip and you kind of dribble backwards a little bit. The guys are going to jump on your back and you just rise up for the shot. So you can see a little of his craftiness there, just abusing that drop coverage. This time he gets a free bucket. So just high IQ, I think, is the theme for him in this game so far. Hands. That's his strength. Lots of hands, right? Lots of hands. Gets a tip pass, gets a strip. Here, gets a strip to a breakaway dunk. In transition, demon, right? Right now, Reed has a defender, one-on-one, calls for the screen. Love that. I think that's Brown. I'm not sure which center that is. I can't tell. But you guys, if you say what I'm thinking right now, when you get a screen, look at all that space. What do I say? I've been saying this about Jalen Green for 3 years, right? If you get a screen into an empty corner and you see that empty corner, that means there's no defender there. There's no corner defender. We've emptied that corner, loaded the other side of the court, and ran the empty side pick and roll here for Reed into an empty corner. Don't even think about it. Just shoot it. Just like that, bro. I've been preaching this for damn near 3-4 years, man. And you know what? A lot of our guards from back in the day, or some of the ones we have on the roster now, they'll get this pass, they'll dribble, try to then switch out and call the big man out to try to ISO on him. This has to be unconscious. Like, as soon as you see an empty corner and a drop big, that's a green light to just pull up and hit it. And that is special. That is special. Once again, the Wizards' defense was terrible. I'm going to say, like, you're going under repeatedly on Reed Shappards. You're not going to be able to get away with that. So he's going under. One of the bad things about going under is that Reed keeps his vision. He keeps his leverage. He doesn't feel pressured. You go under, all you do is set yourself up to be rescreened, right? Now you're out of position. He's going downhill into a drop coverage center. He pulls back, and he's just playing with you now because you're out of position all over the place, and that's a tough bucket. So Chris Paul-esque. Like, a lot of people compare him to Steph and to random just shooters just because he's shooters, random white people. Man, I see the CP3, man. If you couple the passing, the vision, the IQ, the defensive tenacity that he plays with the shooting, especially in the mid-range, a lot of his buckets are in the midi. And to me, that's more impressive than just being a really cold three-point shooter, is the ability to get the mid-range shot off and the ability to elevate and make those shots over contested arms. So really see a lot of Chris Paul in this game, because Chris Paul, as you guys know, put a lot of teams away. What comes to mind is that playoff run where we took the Warriors 7. A lot of those games through that run when James Harden was tripping, CP3 was the one putting the team to bed, bro. So really love that. To me, high IQ guards that have mid-range packages are really game winners for us. You know, that's a guy that can win a game for you. Transition play here, eyes up all the time. Great lead pass to a nice dunk by Slam Whitmore there. Just dope, man. Dope stuff. All right, bringing the ball up. Okay, I want to point out something. We're going to see the difference between this and the Detroit game. Look at the way the defender is just not even paying attention to him. Kind of lazy defensive stance. And to me, you do this against Reed Shappards, he's going to cook. He's going to cook, right? Gets a screen. Again, drop big. This is like taking candy for a baby from him. Drop big, puts you on his hip, attacks, gets to his floater into a layup, right? This is really what Reed wants to see, right? You give him this coverage, and this is what a lot of college teams are going to run this, right? When he was in college, this is what he's going to see. And I'm bringing that up because we're going to talk about what he needs to improve on going forward as an NBA player to really unlock his game. The eyes never stop looking. This play was just special. And this play, man, this don't remind y'all of Chris Paul, man? That don't remind y'all of Chris Paul, man. I've seen Chris Paul make that same little snake dribble through the lane and hit that pass on a zip a million times. Drop coverage, he's calling, come up. You can see him pointing to his defender. That's a big man. He doesn't feel comfortable playing at the line. So his natural inclination is back on his heels to protect the basket. You got to make that. But he gets the rebound back. Great pass once again. Like, you got to make that shot. But that shot, that's a layup, man. They're conceding these layups for him in this game. And now he's just, that's not Chris Paul, y'all. Come on, man. That's not Chris Paul. We haven't seen Chris Paul make that same overhand pass, zip to the corner a million times. I see it, man. I see it. Now, defender wants to play up on him a little bit, gets a screen into a drop coverage, and just that little hesitation allows him to elevate up to a shot, and that's pure. That's a tough shot. That's over a 7-footer. That's athletic. Okay, now let's see how Detroit plays him and compare the two. Let's compare the two between how Detroit plays him and how the Wizards played him. Okay, so Detroit came to play in the game. They came to play defense. Look at the stances of the guys. And they got a scouting report on Reed. This is game 3 of the Summer League. Guys know what's up now. And you could see how they're covering him to start the game. You get a switch here, so they're not even playing with it. But the defense breaks down for them because their big man, look where he's at. Drop. He's dropping, his backpedaling. Anytime you see Reed get a look where the big man's going to drop, he's probably going to score. Which is hella impressive. Leads to an open layup. Just keep that in mind. Keep that defense in mind, right? Keep that in mind for how they play him. Here's a play we'll read on the defense side of the ball. This is something I've noticed on film for him in college and in the Summer League. His on-ball defense is not good, right? He has he's just kind of stiff on that end, opens up the gates or the floodgates, as my coach used to say when I was blocking and you would give up a straight line to the quarterback. As offensive lineman, you can't just make your hips parallel to the sidelines, because what that means is gives the ball handler a straight shot to the basket. And anytime that you let a ball handler in the NBA get a straight shot to the basket and get paint touches, usually bad things happen. And he's prone to do that when he has to guard in isolation. And that's something he's going to have to work on. You got to guard with your feet, just not using his athleticism there to be able to shuffle his feet. And it led to a lot of paint touches for the Detroit guards in this game. So definitely something he has to work on. Okay, here you see him on ball here. We're going to see the coverage. He gets jumped out here after the screen. Detroit's doing a great job of denying him the screen, icing the screen, not allowing him, forcing him to the sidelines over there, forcing him to his right. And then when he tries to go, you see them converge on him a little bit. And a great tip here, the big man does a decent job. I think he probably could have drawn a foul. I think that's stuff he learns as he gets older, but leads to a turnover. So just a different change in coverage is what's really causing a lot of issues for him in this game. I know they were fatigued. I think fatigue did play a factor, but I think that mentally he was worn out by how Detroit was playing him. And these are the things you want to see from your young guards so they can know what they need to work on. Now he's playing off ball here. Detroit does a great job putting him into action. I think most of the plays they put him into action. Lakers and Wizards let him hide in the corner, right? The Rockets put him as the weak side help, allow him to use his smarts, his athleticism, because they know he's not a strong point of attack defender. But the Detroit does a great job always mixing him into action, because it's either going to force a switch or he's not a great screen navigator where he would get lost or something like that. And these are the things. So now they know that he's going to try to switch it. The Detroit offensive player slips that screen with the ball and then leads to him trying to post up Reed. That leads to them getting a turnover. Now, one thing the kid's going to do is he's going to fight. That's what you appreciate about him. When guys like that are very, very coachable, that they wanna play the right way, they're always going to be on the court. It's the same thing that happened with Jabari when he was a rookie. A lot of people, including me at points, I would love to see him bench for Tari, but it's, as a coach, if I put myself in a coach's seat, when you have a player that has all that talent, that's fighting and playing hard, and you know that in the long run they're going to reach a certain level of competence, sometimes you just got to let him cook. Reed plays hard, and you don't worry about his intentions. Like, he's not being lazy or anything like that. It's just things he has to learn. I think he makes a great coach for that. Here's a play I absolutely love. Now, after that, look at the score. It's 10-10 with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. So for the first 8 minutes, they've only scored 10 points. Ime Udoka's younger stunt double, that's our assistant coach, calls a timeout. and they go in with a play that we saw earlier, a similar play, but this time they're going to do it with two screeners with a stagger screen. This is a very, very staple play in the Popovich tree, right? Greg Popovich, if you guys know anything about the Spurs and their motion offense, one of their staples is the motion strong. There are so many things you could do out of the motion, but the stagger screen for the weak side corner to get an entry pass by the ball handler, to curl in, to come down, either get a shot or attack the basket. There are a million things you could do on this, right? And as when the defense tries to compensate for it, you start mixing it up. Instead of Reed like running off the corner, he might cut and get a layup because they're trying to top block him or try to stop him from getting to those screens. But the idea behind this play is to attack the 5-man for the defense, because if you notice, the center for the Rockets is the one that's going to be setting one of the stagger screens, the secondary stagger screen. And usually that 5-man is going to be in a drop coverage because that is what they try to protect the rim, right? So you have the ball handler here. You have the 5-man for the Detroit right there, and then you have the I think that's the 3, and then Reed or whoever your shooter is, and Kyle Korver made a lot of money on this play, right? And you got to think about the coach that was coaching Kyle when he made this money was Bud, Mike Budenholzer, who is, guess what, a Popovich guy. So when I see sprinkles of Popovich offense and Spurs plays in the Rockets playbook, I don't have to look further down the line than Ime Udoka, a Popovich guy. So I'm hoping that this season Ime leans more into his upbringing as a Popovich guy, and kind of with the variety of players we have, not just spamming pick and rolls to death. So a little motion strong here. You see they're going to attack this 5-man. He's in a drop, but Detroit's defender does a wonderful job. And it's a really lazy screens by, I think that was AJ Griffin. Not a great screen there. They didn't really get any body on him, so he's able to kind of cleanly come around and ride Reed's hip down. But ideally, you would get a nice screen, knock this guy off his path, and Reed would get a nice pull-up right there on that big man, that 5-man. You're thinking about in the regular season, that's Şengün, and possibly it could be Dylan Brooks setting those stagger screens. It could be Jabari. It could be Tari. It could be any of our threes. It could be Amen Thompson. And then you get into different actions from there. There's the pick and pop potential. There's the pick and roll potential. There's the rescreen into a pick and roll. The corner, shooter there. There's so many things you could do, but the main thing is to attack that 5, and it's supposed to lead to a pull-up. Good defense by Detroit, better offense by Reed Shappards. That is just beautiful basketball. All right, once again, look at the pickup point for Detroit. They really made an emphasis to bother him. The thing about the NBA is that once guys get film on you, they're gonna play you to your weakness. They're gonna force you to beat them with whatever you're not good at, right? So they know Reed. Once again, I said this earlier. His handles need a lot of work. Not saying he doesn't have shifty handles and he can't do tween hezzies behind the back, et cetera, et cetera. What I mean by handle is being able to handle yourself with ball pressure. And some of the best handlers, and I had an argument about this a while back with I forgot who it was, but there's a difference between handles and just having elite dribble package, right? Kyrie has an elite dribble package. His handles aren't bad, but some of the best handlers don't really do anything fancy, bro. Like some of the best ball handlers, like John Stockton, Chris Paul, they're not, Chris Paul got some nasty crossovers, but most of his stuff is just basic, protecting the ball and using his angles and using his body to shield stuff off. So Reed just needs to learn how to use his body and angles better. But, the ball pressure is really strong here. I don't know if they're in horns. I'm not sure what the Rockets are trying to do here, but they have two guys trying to set screens, which looks like a horns action. Reed got to be patient here and just pull the ball out and kind of read what the defense is doing. But he tries to go middle, which is not what the read is going to be, right? That's not good because they converge on him and kind of fluster him there. He gets a rescreen. By this point, he's all over the place, and this is just young guy stuff, and he gets the stuff pinned on the glass. So just ball handling stuff. I don't think he's a natural point guard. I personally think he should scale up to be a point guard. That should be his training, his development for the Rockets is for him to be on ball as much as possible. And part of his training is going to be learning how to read pressure, right? Reed needs to learn how to read pressure. Yes, corny dad joke. Got to get that off. Okay, once again, high, he's here at the top of the key. Look at the Detroit defender. They're playing him hard. He gets a high screen. Look where the big man is. Not in that deep drop. Now, if I'm Reed Shappards, I'm pulling up here. So this is the difference between him and Steph Curry. right? If we're gonna call him Cocaine Curry, you cannot let this much space between you and a defender that's backpedaling. You got to punish that. You got to punish that, bro. Like right there, that's a pull-up. So when I say Steph has a quicker trigger, is because Steph is just like the flick of the wrist, that ball is gone. For Reed, he has more of a Klay Thompson, even though it's quick, even though he can hit on contest, the trigger for it isn't as quick. So you cannot allow Detroit to do this at all. This is a no-no, Reed. As soon as you see bang, like right there, shoot it. Because now what you do is you allow the defender to get back into position, and now they force you into a driving kick into a bad shooter and travel, right? Turnover. A lot of CTE basketball in this game. A lot of CTE basketball. Once again, here's him on ball on defense, fighting here. But you gotta defend with your feet and your body, right? Defend with your feet and your body. And this is where Fred VanVleet is going to be very important for him. He gets beat to the spot here. Right here, he's beat to the spot because that guard has to go to the basket, and he tries to use his hands to compensate for that. In the NBA, not in Summer League, not at Kentucky, you're going to get a lot of fouls called on you. And in this game, I think in the first quarter or half, he already had 5 fouls. And I don't even know who this guy is he's playing. But imagine Reed is going to get switched out on SGA, on Luka, on Trey, on James Harden, on Brunson, on any of the guards in the NBA that are starter level. And they're going to know that he's aggressive with his hands. They're going to know that his on-ball defense is not elite, is not that good. And they're going to bait him into a lot of fouls. And that's stuff like that is going to keep him off the court. So once again, this is young guy stuff. He just needs to learn to use his frame. Even though he's not the tallest person, the dude's pretty built, right? He's going to get bigger. He's going to get stronger. He's going to get stockier. Just use your body and your athleticism, cut off defenders to the spot. And I know he's going to do it because he's smart and has anticipation. That's what you expect from guys like that. They learn how to get better and address their weaknesses. Here's a play here, drop big. What do y'all think is going to happen? So we have different personnel in the game. This dude for Detroit is relentless about playing the drop on whoever he's on. And what do you think is going to happen? Right, he's in a drop, still in a drop, gets a rescreen, great escape over there by Reed, and then just rides this out to the open lane. So when it's a drop, it's pretty easy. When they play pressure on him, he kind of struggles. And these are, that's the thing that to me, one of the most important things he has to improve on is his handles and then obviously the defensive awareness on ball. So my overall impression of Reed is that, he is phenomenal. I think I've come away from these 3 games, including the Detroit game, is all the uglies and the CTE basketball that they played. His skill set is something that is translatable to the league. I think at baseline, Reed can help you win games, right? He can be a guy that comes off the bench early in his career, his rookie year, maybe 2 years in, where he's coming off, he can score, he can run your offense in the second unit. And as he improves, ideally, in my opinion, the path for him to reach his full potential is going to be the Rockets putting the ball in his hands and letting him use all that skill, the dribbling, the passing, the ability to rise and shoot, the ability to attack the drop coverage, because teams still run drop in the NBA for some weird reason. There are a lot of teams that are still going to try to run drop. And if you got a guy that can kill a drop, as we saw, one of the biggest things that Jalen Green did well in the March run was his shooting. And you know why he was able to attack teams so well? Because his shooting got so good coming off the screens and hitting drops, right? When the center was in a drop, bang, he's shooting it. So what did that force the defense to have to do? To commit the traps, right? Now you got to play at the level. And with JG's ability to, speed and get to the basket, that opened up the whole world for him. For Reed, it's a little bit different, right? He's going to hit that drop. What does that do? It's the same conundrum you have. Now you got a guy that's a passing savant. He's going to get those traps and they're going to come up. What he has to learn to do is handle the pressure well. And that took Jalen, and he's still struggling at it. That's why when teams started trapping Jalen in the April, when we got into playing good defenses, he kind of suffered because bad teams play bad defense. And if you're a talented player like Jalen, like Reed, you're going to cook them, right? When the team plays good defense and they're keyed in on what you do well, what can you do? And I think for Reed, when he learns how to beat those traps, those high hedges, those players that are going to play him at the level where they're icing the screens on him, forcing him to his weak side, whatever it is, when he learns how to beat that, opens up the whole world. I personally believe he's going to learn pretty fast, right? He's going to learn, and it helps. And this is for Jalen, for any guard to have a big man that can pass, right? On the short roll, this is where Şengün comes in. So to me, I've seen what I need to see. I think right now, the way I cast him, he's going to come off the bench, and I think he's going to play probably 15 to 20 minutes for the Rockets just because of his shooting and his ball handling. And I think as the season goes along, if his defense improves, then he'll be able to get more and more minutes. Personally, early right now, I'm not going to make any claims. For me, I see him as the Fred VanVleet replacement for the long term. I want Reed to be our point guard because the brain is there. The abilities are there. We just need to fine tune them. The kid's 19. He has a lot of room to grow. He's going to learn from a really good guard in Fred VanVleet. He's going to learn from some great coaches and great coaching staff. And I think the Rockets should, if Fred is there, Dylan, bring in some more vets. I'd love us to get a third veteran guard to come in and kind of help him out as well. But he's the goods, man. The shooting is there. When it's a shot that he should make, more than often he's going to make it. And that's a player that we haven't seen on the roster. The defense needs a lot of work. He's going to have to work on that over time and find his legs in the league as all the, some like Steph, they compare him to Steph. Steph is not a great defender, but he works hard. And there's been a lot of plays where you see Steph really, really show the effort, helps his team on defense. Can Reed be a neutral on defense? I think with his steals, his ability to get his hands on a lot of balls, and his ability to do a lot of things off the ball, that to me helps that case of him being a neutral. The next step for him is not to be just a, open gate to the basket. Like, get in front of your guy, put your body in front of them, let them play through you, not around you, right? And stop reaching so much. Time your steals, and you can watch Fred, you can watch Chris Paul film. You got to be able to use your body to knock them off, then you steal the ball. When you're always reaching from behind, guys are going to punish you for that with fouls. But so far, so good. I think through these games, him, a couple other guys have shined as from his class. I think the Rockets made an absolute great pick. And obviously, people keep telling me, bro, you said trade back. Yes, I said trade back, okay? I said trade back. I have a channel. I have to make objective decisions about opinions that I have, right? I have to, not objective decisions, they're opinions, so they're subjective, but I have to make declarative statements about where I stand, okay? If I'm going to have a platform and I'm going to make declarative statements about where I stand, if I say trade back, don't be goofy and coming on here and tell me, bro, you said trade back, haha. Yeah, I said trade back, bro. There's usually two options to something. I can't get every option right, and Reed is 3 games into his summer league and people want me to whip myself in the back and hang myself in a cross because, bro, let the kid grow. Y'all stop putting so much pressure on him to be Steph Curry or whatever Hall of Fame player that we're comparing him to. And I'm trying to do that myself. I know the Chris Paul thing. I'm not going to say he is Chris Paul, but I'm saying his game is very Chris Paul-like. Okay, I'll stand on that because I see it. But let's not put too much pressure. It can't be like, oh, he's so good, then he has a bad game and people are pounding on him and riling on him. So let's give him room to grow. I will promise you this. To me, I feel like I have a basketball eye that you can't really quantify with stats or anything like that. I promise you this, Reed Shappards is going to be a good player. I can tell. You can see it. The same way I knew about Alfred Şengün, the same way I know about Amen Thompson. I'm telling you, the same way I know about Tari Eason, the same way I know about Jabari, the same way. Well, Jalen's going to be a good player. I know people are going to think I'm hating. I'm not hating on Jalen. Jalen, to me, once again, it comes down to the mentals. I have no question about Reed's mentals. I have none at all. You know what I mean? To me, the feel for the game is one of the most important aspects of basketball, and the kids got it. So I'm curious to see. I don't know if they're going to shut him down or not. I want to see what he bounces back like, because to me, that tells me more about him. But honestly, none of this, like as far as what his fit is going to be like, is really going to be answered with the cast of players he plays with right now. We're going to have to wait till he actually plays with a real team within the structure of Ime Udoka's offense, around those great players that he's going to be playing off of. If Reed is your number one player as he is in Summer League and teams are trapping him and stuff like that, yeah, he's going to struggle. He's 19. He's a rookie, right? But if Reed is third, fourth option on a play with that shooting, the ball handling, the mid-range shots, he's a winner, bro. That's the best thing I can describe him as right now. I don't know if he's ever going to be a superstar or star. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But I know for a fact that at the end of the day, I want guys like that on my team. I want winners on my team, and I know Reed Shappards a winner. Okay, so if you guys like this video, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Keep rocking with the Chop Shop, and we're going to keep dropping that fire.
DJ Candlestick. It's the Chop Not Slap Show.